Hello students, my name is Professor Lando, and in today's lecture we are going to learn about armpits. So we've covered a myriad of topics here at the Lando Institute of Guidance, Maturity, and Academics, and these topics have ranged greatly in their level of depravity. And so students, you might be wondering, why is it that today we're going over something so mundane? Hidden behind the most unassuming things, like armpits, the community at large continues to push the boundaries of what is considered, how would you say, desirable, what is considered an object of desire, an object of lust. And in layman's terms, what I'm saying exactly is that people out there find armpits attractive. Well, first off, I don't want to make any assumptions on the educational level here in this classroom right now. So why don't we start with something simple? What is an armpit? Okay, so if you don't know, students, the armpit is going to be the part of the body located in this general area. Here you go, if you're having trouble seeing that right there. The students in the back, that is what we are talking about when we refer to the armpit. So just know that going forward for the usage of this lecture, that is what we in fact are referring to. So, students, you might be looking at my drawing here, my educational diagram. You might be thinking to yourself, Professor Lando, that seems a little not quite right. That is maybe a little naughty, you might be thinking. And to that, I would say that they are already getting to you. Who's they? Well, that's what this lecture is going to be about. But firstly, I would like to say that what I see is a fully clothed woman. Beautiful woman, Batwoman, but a fully clothed one nonetheless. And no explicit body part is being exposed. So when you ask, Professor Lando, is that allowed? Yeah. Why wouldn't it be? The premise of this lecture hinges on the fact that armpits are indeed on the rise in terms of popularity. And we can take a look at these examples in modern media to show what I'm talking about. All right, students, here you can see a compilation of very intentional pit showcasing in mainstream media. The market continuously adapts to the taste of the consumer. Here we see an undeniable shift towards that, with armpits being showcased more as the demand for armpits increases, thus being recognized and served by the companies. All right, students, I almost forgot, but before we continue with the rest of the lecture, I want to go over our next homework assignment. You're going to need to check out Silver and Blood Requiem, a spectacular Gothic aesthetic RPG set in the continent of Menexus, where blood serves as the fountain of life and the carrier of memories for your adventure in this dark fantasy medieval epic. And as you students know, our school is focused on the most important intellectual pursuits, anime girls and boys, and, well, their armpits. And as you can see here, we can appreciate the success of Silver and Blood Requiem in that aspect with the Gothic style characters and their armpits. And thankfully, Silver and Blood Requiem also has a cast of over 50 medieval characters and romanticist roles to choose from, each with a distinct identity for you to battle and forge unbreakable bonds with. Not to mention, Silver and Blood Requiem's base drawing probability is 4%. Which means that on average, you're going to pull an SSR after about 20 to 30 pulls, which is much higher than similar gacha games. And trust me, I should know. Featuring music from renowned video game composer Yasunori Nishiki, command the shifting tides of battle to retake the land of Menexus from the monstrous blood beasts, and be enthralled by a star-studded voice cast, including Takahito Koyasu and Akari Kito, as they bring the vassals to life. It's an absolutely breathtaking audio experience you're not going to want to miss as you harness the power of blood and purge the horrors that lurk within this Gothic landscape. Blood memories awaken, the path home begins. Alright students, you can download and play Silver and Blood Requiem by clicking the link in the description below, or by scanning the QR code on the screen here for both PC and mobile users. Don't forget, you can click these links to also check out the What Hue Does Your Blood Hold events as well. Thank you so much to Skystone Games and to Silver and Blood Requiem for sponsoring today's lecture. Let's get back to class with a Ligma University exclusive interview with one of these twisted individuals that finds armpits attractive. No, please have a seat. Okay, well, first off, I wanted to thank you for joining us and agreeing to partake in this interview.
I'm happy to be here and tell people about this experience. So yeah, it's no problem at all.
So can you just, how did this all start?
Well, I've liked armpits ever since I could remember, really. Ever since I was a kid, when I was a kid, I played this game. Are you familiar with Sonic the Hedgehog?
That's sick.
Yeah, I mean, they don't wear shirts, a lot of them, and sorry. No, we can keep going. I haven't spoken to my family in years.
That must have been hard.
It's been hard, but this is the life I chose to be into armpits. Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
That's the sort of thing with these kinds of things. I mean, you don't really plan to be into armpits, but then you find yourself alone at night and just sorry. No, yeah, I'm okay. If I could stop, I would.
I do hope you can get the help you need, but I do appreciate you giving us your time and coming on here to tell the world about your affliction.
I just think it's so hot.
These people live among us, and it's our duty to weed them out, identify them, and make sure that we don't fall into the same fate that they have unfortunately found themselves in. So, you might be wondering, Professor Lando, now that I know that there are malicious actors out there trying to convince me, an innocent person, to be attracted to armpits of all things, what can I do to protect myself? Well, I have a diagram for you. This is the Professor Lando diagram of armpit complexity. Memorize what I'm about to show you, and you will be well equipped to face the dangers of armpits online. So first off, we have level 1. So what are we talking about when we say armpit complexity? Well, mainly, specifically, the amount of detail present in a depiction of armpits online. And first we have level 1, safe. As you can see here in this diagram, this depiction of an armpit, there are no lines drawn. This is something akin to like a cartoon or like a stick figure drawing almost. You can see there's no indication of any sort of complexity or detail here. So here at level 1, you can be confident that you are safe. Level 2. Here in level 2, you're going to see the emergence of a line. We are seeing the addition of this complexity here on a very basic level. Perhaps this is an artist's depiction of depth there. They want to imply that, yes, that is an armpit, and there is a sort of pit, obviously, a depth there. And I'm simply trying to convey to you my artistic merit in being able to depict said body part. And so here at level 2, we are increasing the complexity, but still safe. Next up, we have level 3. Here we see the complexity increase with the addition of another line, perhaps 2. We are officially in dangerous territory where you can't be exactly sure who are your friends and who are your enemies. Here, what does that mean? Here we see the increase in complexity with the armpits. And I guess the question you really have to ask yourself is why? Why are these lines added, and are they necessary? And here I would say that although suspect territory, you can't be exactly sure if you're in the danger zone or not, because, maybe this is just simply an attention to detail, wanting to be more specific and more perhaps anatomically correct. So I would say proceed with caution here at level 3, but don't assume you're safe. However, with the next level, level 4. Here at level 4, we see the complexity of the armpit reach completely unnecessary levels, with so many lines and creases being added, like you're trying to tell the age of a tree. This is completely absurd. Maybe you'll even see a bit of that freshly shaven razor burn, or perhaps some musk coming off of the armpit to depict maybe some heat emanating off of it. Maybe you got some sweat beads there, yeah. Or maybe you can even add a little bit of a hair, a little bit of hair never. So you've been warned. Level 4, that's when we've completely gone off the deep end, and I would turn the other way. So the question is why? What exactly is the mechanism driving the popularity of armpits? And that mechanism is power creep. If you play trading card games, competitive trading card games, you might be familiar with the concept. The same thing happens when it comes to explicit body parts and desire. Let's go back in time. Let's go back and take a look at what people considered attractive. Many, many years ago, the thought of seeing someone's ankle was scandalous. To see someone's little bit of skin showing because a dress was a little too short was considered perhaps explicit, lustful even. Of course, nowadays we see something like this and think, well, that's ridiculous. So that's where we're starting. The bar is low. But over time, people got used to the ankle, right? So we have to push the boundaries to get that same rush that we used to feel when looking at an ankle. So what started as an ankle might evolve to thighs and thigh highs and that little bit of squish that's shown just below the skirt. See, our senses are getting dulled. We get used to the things we see and we require more activation of that little thing in the back of our brains. Ankles weren't enough. Thighs eventually weren't enough. Now this is something mundane. This is something you might see me wearing at the mall, or I don't know. But eventually we need to go even further beyond. And so we start liking things like wearing diapers. It's a Oh. No, yeah, that's gross. Just kidding. Just kidding. Stupid. Finding yourselves being attracted to armpits of all things. God. All right, students. So in conclusion, I think we've learned that yes, there are people out there that see armpits as objects of lust, of desire. And it's sick and it's twisted. And I would say to you, don't let these troubled individuals convince you that you should not draw armpits or not post a selfie, that you should be embarrassed and or ashamed of such a normal, run-of-the-mill body part. It's just an armpit, right? So I would say just keep posting them or drawing them or what have you, because nothing's wrong with an armpit. It's just a normal body part. I mean, this is ridiculous, right? That people are even attracted to this normal body part. It's crazy to me. What's next? What are people going to be into next? It's crazy to me. Yeah, I don't know.